Let's bow our head for prayer. Our most precious Heavenly Father, be with us tonight as we do the business for the town of Benson and for the people in Benson. And lead us and guide us as we go through deliberation and discussions on things that's on our agenda. But be with the ones that can't be here tonight for whatever reason, and be with them in a way that they need help. And lead us, guide us, and direct us in all we say and do. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I made that motion.
Any questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I made that motion.
Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Department reports. Were you going to talk first, or you going to let, you going to talk first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk first. I just wanted to touch base on my report. So you'll see how I've been doing monthly is kind of giving you guys a brief overrun of some of the meetings that I've attended. But you have a very lengthy update of the Connection Summit. If you'll notice, a lot of the stuff that they discussed this time was looking into the future, EV charging stations, time of use rates, those types of things that are beneficial when you have AMI meters. If you want any copies of any of the presentations, I can send that to you as well. Then I roll into, I was able to attend ICSC Charlotte in March, later in the month of March. This was I think a great event, or for me to kind of get my feet wet when it comes to economic development and trying to talk to retail businesses about coming into Benson. I was able to get a lot of contacts, as you'll see. My goal is to be able to email them maybe quarterly a newsletter that talks about where Benson is at and how we're growing, and just keep our name kind of in their minds about coming here. This is also a great, I felt like something good for me to go to, because we are going to be going to the ICSC Vegas in next month in May, at the end of May. So we have a 5x7 card that we're going to be passing out with some information about Benson in regards to population and some of the locations, some of the properties that are for sale that would be really good for commercial. And Mr. Chandler and Mr. Neighbors are going to be joining me on that trip. And then you roll into our reports from the engineers. The first one is Withers Ravenel. I did this week get back their assessment for the ADA transition plan. I don't have that on this board agenda because I haven't been able to really look fully into it, but Glenn is here. If you guys have questions about it, I'm sure he's happy to we can talk about it. My goal is to have Jay and myself sit down and look at those cost assessments. They didn't give an actual nominal figure. It's kind of like it's kind of noted by three dollar signs. So like a low amount probably we can do in-house, to a medium, and then this is probably going to be like a capital expenditure, a higher amount. So we'll look through that and we'll get that to you guys at the May 11th meeting.
After that, and y'all look through it and we look through it, how fast do you think we can get started on some of it?
Some of it, I mean, like I said, a lot of it is something we can do in-house. So we get a list. Jay's already kind of got a spreadsheet filled out for each department, and we can look at, this month, let's tackle one or two things on the list, and we can start working through it. every month.
Are they budgeted items?
Some of them are, like I said, they're very low cost. I mean, some of it might be move this sign up 3 feet, or move this paper towel dispenser down a couple inches. Some of it's really easy stuff, so we'll hit that stuff first.
Have we got any funding that's coming in to help pay for any of the projects?
Right now. No, we have
Okay.
submitted to DOT for funding on our, to do ADA ramps. We have submitted something with them, but we've not heard back from it yet.
Okay.
So, that's kind of the bigger UDO. Is also with Withers Ravenel. We're looking at doing a combined meeting on May the 25th with the planning board for the UDO to come in and give you guys the first 2 sections of the updated UDO that the steering committee has been working on. So I'll get you guys more information on that. That's kind of the date that Aaron has put out there. So that is moving along. And were you on the call? Okay. So the steering committee went over the first 2 sections yesterday. And then we move into the Wooten Company. You will see later on tonight that we finally got our letter of funding from the state for the $22 million. They accepted our budget. So Angie will be bringing forward a budget amendment for that. And so we're moving forward on that. We are also have submitted our final review of the septic receiving station. We are looking at using our STAG money that we received from the federal government last year to pay for the septic hauling station. And then that report we'll be able to give to you guys soon, showing what the revenues are coming out of that septic hauling station once it's up and running. And those are kind of our major reports that I have. You can look through what the rest of them say. If you have any questions, let me know.
How much of the, since we got the letter on the 22 million, how much of that will be used on anything that Wooten is working on? Aren't they still working on their Mingo project as far as moving the lines?
The $22 million is only for the upgrade of the plant. So there'll be some planning and stuff that's going to come out of that. I gave y'all that budget in February when I submitted it. If I need to resend it, I can. But it had it kind of listed out. Here's what our planning costs are. Here's construction cost. But the $22 million is going to be used strictly for the upgrade of the plant.
That's in the packet tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And she's got it kind of broken out in the budget ordinance as well.
But I was thinking, though, that some of the Mingo lines,
No.
not the that feed into our system, some of those lines would be replaced that go into our system.
The
And we could-
Mingo Interceptor is EDA and USDA funding. It's
Okay.
EDA grant and partially USDA grant, and the other half of that is loan from USDA. But nothing from Mingo is coming out of the state funding.
Okay.
Federal fund.
Federal funding.
Any other questions on the department reports? We go down to new business. Consider the,
Okay, the first one is, like Kim was just talking about, this is the, we got the letter of intent to fund for the ARPA money, the 22.7. And so this is just a project ordinance putting this into the project for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. So I just need approval to do that.
I made the motion, we approve.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank y'all.
Next.
Wastewater treatment plant upgrade.
We just did that one.
Do that.
We're gonna do the February financials now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, at the end of February, the, town stands with revenue at 66.31% and expenses at 71.95%. So does anybody have any questions?
We tightening up the bill.
Yes.
Okay.
Make
So-
a motion, we approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank y'all.
All right, Kimberly.
So, you all know we just got done with Withers Ravenel performing our hydraulic study and our AMP study. So part of that hydraulic study, what it did was it's able to give us a model of what our system will do if. So if this new development comes in, we can run that through the model and it'll tell us how it's going to react in our system. If we take the tower offline in October, how is this, if we pull water from the South Johnston side of town, how is that going to react in our system? So this is a task order simply for if we need it for hydraulic modeling within our system. There's 6 different sections of it. A lot of times when we have new development, they'll ask us to do hydraulic studies or hydrant tests. We can actually have Withers run this through our model, and then we can amend our fee schedule to have the developer actually pay what this model is going to cost. So not all of this can necessarily is something the town can eat. Some of this we can push back on developers when they ask us to do those hydrant tests. But this is an as-needed basis, but we have to have it on file in the event.
It's like the concrete contract, you're just gonna use it if you need it, right?
Yep.
I make a motion, we approve.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Okay, Matt Smith.
Nope, me again. So, around in 2022, we applied for a stormwater grant. It was $4.6 million. We did not get it. We actually got back our scores last week. So we kind of know where we were missing the mark. They are going to have another round of funding come out, but this round of funding is only going to be for planning, as the one we applied for before was planning and construction. So we are going after that grant again. The Wooten Company is doing the grant application. It's pretty much done. They need to make some amendments to it. We've added some letters from the community that Jay has worked on getting that shows support that we need to fix the system because it floods. And this is specifically in the area of like Railroad, Parish, kind of where TNT is, Market Street, kind of back through that line. So Jay has gone around and got some letters of support from the community, from some of the employees at the town. So this is a resolution asking, we have to have this with the grant application. So it's a resolution that shows support that we apply for this grant again.
How about all the pictures that we have
He's-
taken and sent in?
He's going to turn those in with
I
it.
mean, the school, the fire department, it's always flooded.
Yep.
How
He's
much
gonna turn it in.
grant for?
Well, this one is going to be for planning, so I don't have the exact number. The planning and construction was 4.6 million. So this is probably more around like $1 million, but we still have to have a resolution to approve, to show support for it from the board.
Is there a cost for the application, or is it kind of work like we only have to pay if we
Right.
get it, right?
Yeah.
I make the motion, we approve.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Where do you think we went wrong at?
I can send you the scoring sheet.
What do we need to do different, though?
I think
Because
it would-
I really felt good about
I did too.
what we were doing.
I think having the letters of support is going to be very helpful because we can show that there's a need for it. But I think we were just in competition with a great deal of people and we just didn't make the cut.
Well, that's fine, but the letters of support, all the people that were underwater that complain and call and burn your ears up because every time a hard rain, and we got pictures of all of that. I don't know, I'd like to know who else was ahead of us and what they didn't look at or what they did look at.
Yeah, I can get that to y'all.
Yeah.
Where's Matt Smith?
Oh, we gotta take a vote on
I think you gotta vote.
Come on, Matt.
I think
gotta
you have,
vote on
you gotta
what's
vote.
on the floor.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
What's up? Okay, so the first thing on here is the consideration for the acceptance of the open space grant. I talked about this when we were talking about the playground and funding. It's a Johnson County open space. We are eligible for a third of the money from the South Johnson area. They approved our application. It was for 21,000, hang on a second, 566, I believe.
That's right.
20,566. So we just have to, I have to sign the papers and send it back as long as you guys say, yeah, good. And that, if you remember, it's to go towards the playground at the Grove. There is a 5% match, but we've already met that with our money that's already in the budget for the playground.
I make a motion we approve.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Okay.
Naming rights.
Yep, the next thing you have is, we've discussed this several times here, naming rights for the playground at the Grove. I took it back to my advisory board and suggested, asked for their suggestions. They felt that with where this playground is, which is the center of town at probably the most populated place or the most traveled area, that $50,000 would be a fair amount to ask for the naming rights of the playground at the Grove. The total amount of the playground is gonna be 113 and change. They felt that, 50,000 would be fair to ask, from where it is and what it costs. And I brought that to this board the last time, we'd never really discussed it. So now what you have in front of you are the naming rights policy that you approved in 2017, which is a 25-year, naming minimum, 25-year minimum, and then unless, after that, any time that it has to be replaced or majorly redone, refurbished, then the name can change. So that's the suggestion that I put forth to you now.
Is this the same as what we voted on?
You voted on everything except what I'm talking about right now for the playground.
Gotcha.
The other stuff was for the ball fields and the field house were the first time. And we decided on $25,000 per ball field, $100,000 for the field house. We didn't discuss anything else, so this is one of the things that became back into discussion. So the playground, the suggestion is $50,000 to put the name on the playground. And everything else, that's the one letter that you have, everything else you've approved.
And
In 2017.
What's your date now? I know you gave it to us last time. You talked any more?
Doug is, date as far as when it's going in?
As far as equipment?
Doug wants to start taking the trees out Monday. I talked to John Bars, he's a good man and thorough. He has not gotten back as a timeline as of yet, but the normal waiting period is between 8 and 10 weeks. And I think we're getting probably halfway through that right about now, because I think it's about 4 weeks ago where we approved it.
So do
Or
you think
approved
we'll
it.
have it by the singing convention?
I hope so. I can't guarantee anything.
Okay.
You think you can get the 50,000 from the donor?
Maybe. I didn't know, wasn't sure we'd get 25 for the fields, and we got those, so. But as far as the playground as far as the playground purchase and everything, the donor's not needed to purchase it, because it's already, we're gonna have that taken care of through this grant and the town's, budget.
Occupancy,
And the occupancy tax. So as far as putting it in, we don't need it, but it would be nice, yeah.
Does all the money we're paying for include ground preparation, like leveling it and all that stuff?
Everything is, we're gonna have to take out the old playground. We're gonna have to prepare the ground. Everything after that is either, whenever we get in there as a Public Works and takes out everything, gets all the sand out of there, gets it leveled, they're gonna come in and do all the installation, all the surfacing, all the borders, everything's gonna be on them after we take everything out. Take it out and prep the land.
No. They go back with sand or
No, they're
rubber?
gonna go back with, it's a fiber, just like is at the playground at PK Vis, and in the old playground that was put in 2012, and the new playground that was put in November. They're gonna be that fiber surface. It's not gonna be sand. I'll never put another sand playground in if it kills me. It's just too much pain. And it's not, that surfacing is considered ADA compliant, where sand is not.
Cool.
I make a motion we approve the luck hunting.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Good. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
It's on the floor.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. All right, town manager.
Don't forget, next Saturday, May the 6th, we're having our ribbon cutting at the community park at 10 o'clock in the morning. Coffee with a Cop is going to be May the 8th at, where's that at?
I don't know, where is that at?
Okay. Maybe McDonald's. I can let y'all know. The first Sundown in Downtown concert is going to be on May the 11th. It's the Embers, and featuring Craig Woolard. And don't forget, the Mayor's Breakfast is on May the 12th at 7:30. We missed that on the events page, but don't forget that is at Benson Baptist Church. And that's all I have, unless y'all have something. Yeah, I just said that.
Okay, commissioners. Town attorney.
I don't have anything that would spoil the pace y'all are on here, so unless there are questions.
William?
Only thing I'll mention, I'm sure you're aware of it, because I think you're getting them too, but I'm getting a lot of complaints on grass and housing.
Yes.
And whatever we can do to try to get that under wraps, I'm all for doing it, because the yards and vacant lots around here are looking really bad.
Yes, I'm getting them too, and I talked with planning last week, told them to get some grass letters out ASAP.
It's in your hands.
Yep.
Where are we with Aaron and our extra meeting that we were putting together?
So that meeting was adjourned. So I talked with Erin about how she had already noticed everything back out for this first meeting, for the May meeting. So we talked it through, and Ike and I had talked it through at the last meeting, and in the event that you don't have quorum, you need to postpone the meeting to an event, to a next day, and she wouldn't have to notice anybody again, because that is the notice of the postponement. So she had already re-noticed everything, so there was no way to, and there's a certain time frame on these things as well. So it will be the first, they'll have their planning board meeting next
But if
week.
it happens again, then
They know how to, yeah.
she knows how to do it.
Yeah, I talked to her about what your procedure needs to be moving forward.
And Ike on there refurbishing of the water tank. The contract that's in there and what we're coming up with. It's good with you now. We're gonna go ahead with this.
It's good with me. Y'all approved it in the consent agenda.
Yeah.
A couple things I'll just highlight. Commissioner McClan was asking about this earlier. It's still up in the air as to who's gonna foot the bill for removing the existing cell phone tower corral and associated appurtenances and connections from the tower. We're supposed to have a meeting probably next week on that, with the Verizon representatives and representatives from, the tower maintenance company, who are facilitating that. My sense of it is, and I don't know what'll happen at that meeting, so my sense of it is that Verizon has either contractors or their own workforce to, do the removal, and who are well versed in how they put it up there to begin with. They know how to take it down and put it up. They have towerage. Scotty, who was here before, presented to you, expects that they would have towerage. There's space available that won't have to go on private property, which is an excellent thing. We did it. We're able to iron out. It's going to go right there where the tower is, where the water tower is now. But the cost, I think they suspect that Verizon will probably push back to the town to shoulder that cost. Now, how that gets paid, either over time in abatement of the rental payment or all in one lump sum, we just don't know yet. So that is one particular thing that's up in the air. In the contract, it does say we're responsible for removal, right? So I will say, it's a contract that's terminable every year. And if something were to happen, just worst case scenario where we had to put a pause on all of this, you wouldn't have to pay the water tower maintenance company under the contract you just approved
for anything other than what they'd already done to this point, right? So you wouldn't if for some reason the removal of the corral just proved to be something that was gonna have to, take longer or cost more than we could afford, so
How long does it take to do it?
It'll take
16 weeks.
12 to 16 weeks for the temporary tower to be put up, which Verizon owns their own, so they've already been out there and looked at where they could put it. To removing everything off of ours onto the temporary tower for the actual maintenance of the tank and then putting everything back on. They're saying 12 to 16 weeks. And I think it's important for y'all to all know that we had a meeting this morning with Johnston County because we're probably going to have to get more supply from them during that off period. So we wanted to make sure that they would be able to provide it. But they're also doing, so the South Johnston Tower's getting rehabbed, and the Mary Stewart Tower in Dunn is getting redone. We
I
will not
thought
do
Mary
anything.
Stewart was being finished right now.
Are they done? Okay. So I know they were in the process. I didn't know they were done.
Yeah. That
Okay.
tank's finished, but
So we will not do anything until we will not be doing it at the same time as the South Johnston tank. Because we're gonna ensure, water quality is our first and foremost. So just understand that as well. So if Johnston County gets pushed back more and they start later than they have planned, then we may have to push back the date as well. But we'll have all that hammered out and we'll let y'all know as soon, with enough notice. And as soon as we find out about the tower.
South Johnson, because they got the things attached to it right now.
They got them attached, but they haven't done anything else. They had to put it on hold.
Gotcha.
Other than that, I'm good with the contract. They
Okay.
ceded to pretty much every change and additional requirement, provided a performance bond for year one right now. That's the relatively speaking.
And-
That's the $450,000 year. The other years are 20,000.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see whether or not it's really a statutory requirement once it morphs into the subsequent years where it's strictly just a maintenance contract. It being a repair in the first year, they did provide the bond, which is required by statute, and it's just, when that level of contract's a good idea to have. So they provided everything I asked for, so I'm good with it.
well, I read it and I saw it, but a lot of times we approve stuff like the consent agenda, and half of them have never even looked at it. So it needs to bring some things that we're going to spend this much money on. I think it needs to be brought out, even though we're going to approve the consent agenda, and it's part of it. But that's a lot of paper that you need to sit down and read, and I don't read all of it. There's no way. It's just like
We went back and
the
forth
other.
over it for pretty much since the last meeting.
Uh-huh.
Anytime there's anything on the consent agenda that you want to take off, all you got to do is say it.
And
I
the reason
understand
why-
that, but we don't
We'll
want
move
to
it.
take it off,
No,
but,
I'm talking about take it off the consent agenda and put it on an item in the meeting.
Well, the board had already approved the measure
Yeah.
with the stipulation of a final contract that I was satisfied with, but it being a pretty large contract and an important repair and maintenance, moving forward, that's why we put it back on, and so you could at least review it.
right, right. Yeah. And the only other thing is, I think we need to be more clarifying to the residents of Benson what gets picked up and what doesn't. I know we came up, leaves, we're through picking up leaves right now because that season's over with. I don't necessarily think people know the dates and what can be picked up. I mean, I was told that my stuff wouldn't be picked up, and it was because it fell into, every 2 weeks, on Monday or Tuesday.
Fell into
Kim. Yeah, it fell into the sticks, and here I had shrubs that I was fixing to haul off, and they got them. Now I've got to explain it to somebody else why his leaves didn't get picked up, and my sticks got picked up. I picked up one of the folders up in the office, and I know it's something small, but we need to critique that a little bit and let people know that, you leave March the 1st is the last time the leaf truck can come by, or whatever that is, because people are still got piles of leaves out there and pine straw, and it has to go into a container. And it's just not, when they call up to the town a lot of times, I think our PR is not where it needs to be. It can be explained a little different from whoever.
Okay.
And that's in any group that we have. And from the police department to the fire department to the electrical department, it's all about public relations. If they tell somebody something, if they've done something wrong and tell somebody a lot of times the way it's told, we won't even have a problem. I don't even hear those calls. But it's just, and that's one of them. So, and I think that's it.
Well, I think the people in customer service, what they're doing is communicating what they've been given in writing, of which everybody in town has gotten. Leave start on this date and ends on this day. You pick up the sticks on Monday. But you're right, everybody don't remember all that stuff, or they never looked at it when it was in the
Well, I think that we've got some new help coming in across the board. I think they have to be trained a little different as far as how to answer a call. I mean, I don't get the same response when I call up that somebody else does. And I'm not talking about Kim, I'm talking about if I have a water problem and I call, well, that's what the bill is and you better pay it. And I know they're working through some of that, but it's public relations. It's just the way you explain it to somebody. And I think Kim and some of them know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of times it's just the way it's presented back to them.
Yeah, I hear a lot of the conversations,
Yeah.
but most of them are on the other side.
And one other thing, where are we with our evaluations,
About the salary study?
salary study?
So, I will have numbers by the end of next week. So I'm waiting on that so I can finish out what I need to do on the budget. You guys will get presented that on May the 25th.
Are you going to put in exactly what it
I
says?
need to look at what they give me first. I can't say for sure what I'm gonna do with it until I look at it.
Well, as a general rule, the board approves the amount study.
Right. Yeah, but I'm gonna work through fitting it into the budget that we currently have. I mean, you guys saw where the general fund laid in February, and I've recently gotten Dunn and the county's information back on where their water rates are going to be for our bulk water. Dunn, I'm sorry, I told you backwards today, Jerry. Dunn is going up 14%, and Smithfield is going up 6% on our bulk water rate. So, I mean, I'm still getting like tax scrolls and stuff, so I'm still working through the budget, but I mean, that's some of the stuff that I'm dealing with. So, I'm going to get those numbers hopefully by the end of next week, and then I'm going to shut myself in the office and work through it. So, with the department heads.
Let me ask one question based on his last question on the, who provides the stickers for the cans?
GFL.
GFL provides those, because we don't, I don't know about, my cans haven't been updated since '23. I've still got 22 stickers.
They have my can still has.
So I don't think they've updated them yet, and I wonder if that's not, if the leaf dates and the stick pickup dates, we could maybe put in wording on the bottom of those stickers on the cans, because every Wednesday when I go to roll out trash, I've got to look at that calendar and I say, dang, that's 22, and I got to Google it.
Yeah.
To be able to find it. But if it was on the can and those stickers, then you.
Well, see,
The stickers are
mine
on
was
ours.
done the same time yours was.
Right,
My sticker, but I don't have a problem
right.
in anybody picking up my stuff but these other people, and Kim's aware of it, and she stays on the phone with our trash pickup. Oh, we can put it in any can, and it's all picked up. You recycle, it's picked up. Said, well, put your grass clippings in there, they'll pick that up too. So,
Yeah.
Get in the black bag that way.
Oh my God. I thought it was in the calendar, but Tyler said it's not. So he's going to work through a PR push, and we'll get it pushed out, so everybody knows.
the only reason I asked you about the salary, I was in kind of a budget meeting.
Yep. With the
Last
fire.
night.
Mhm.
Look, I don't care what we put down, it's not going, we're trying to cut costs. And,
Alan and I worked through that today.
yeah, you can't cut equipment, and you've got labor and all of this other stuff, and it liable to go up.
It's right now. I mean, it's especially with like materials, and you don't know where gas prices are going to be over the next year. I mean, a lot of us, when we did the budget last year, we thought we were budgeting high for like something like gas and lubricants, and you can look and see. I mean, we missed the mark because we didn't know gas was going to be as high as it is now. So it's a moving target, but we're working through it. So.
Sandra?
I want to add one thing. Miss Maxine's not here tomorrow. It's her birthday, so send her a text tomorrow and tell her happy birthday.
There's a couple things I want to bring up that has to do with the legislature, and it's stuff that we absolutely have got to be concerned about. The number one thing is the extraterritorial jurisdiction, ETJ. And there's a strong group in the legislature that wants to do away with it, that everything would be under the county. Where you see the limits is what you get. And I think we need everybody that has any contact with legislators, they need to let them know how they feel about it. There's also 3 other bills that are really touching the towns. It's Senate Bill 673, which an act to allow alternative peak daily sewage flow rates for design rate modeling and to reform and simplify approval procedures for certain water transfers. Now, you figure out what that says, you're a Philadelphia lawyer. But our senator happens to be one of the supporters on that. I've talked to him about it, and it means that you can't put in a sewer plant unless you meet the 3 criteria that they have here, and those 3 criteria are 3 pages long. So just keep that one in mind. And 2023. It's actually Senate Bill 675, has to do with land use clarification changes. Bill to be entitled, an act to allow the setting of schools via special use permits for areas zoned for commercial use to clarify the user rights of the property and not this. So we've been pushing to get schools built in town, and they're trying to cut that off at the whack. Does anybody have anything else they want to say? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I made that motion.
All in favor, say aye. One thing I want to say before we get out. I want to get out of the meeting first. The packet that we get for the meetings are important. And I know some of you never track them, and some of you look at every bit of it. And we have generally deadlines for the meetings. That's on Tuesday. We have to have the information done to us, and I'm talking about to our clerk, and she's got 3 jobs now, so we need to kind of help get this information to them on time. and it should be there by noon on Friday. So it can be put together, we can renew it on Friday afternoon, and it can be delivered to the commissioners Friday night. On Thursday, it's the same kind of situation. This time it was on Monday night before it got there, but generally, when the meeting was on Thursday, we still tried to get them out on Friday. So the way I've always thought about this is that the staff looks at things that need to be done because they're out there doing the job and they know what's coming. And that information gets sent to Kim, and she decides, yeah, we're gonna put this together and have it, and then it winds up a packet of information that goes with each item, and Ms. Thornton puts it together, and that's what we get. And it gets to be really important that everybody takes a look at what's there and that they can contribute when we come to the meetings. The other thing is, and it's something that I have never brought up, but it's still a rule, that when we discuss an item on the board packet and get through the discussions, and somebody jumps right in and make a motion, you really can't make a motion until the chairman recognizes, makes the comment, I'll entertain a motion to approve this. And so we need to do that to give a little more, huh?
That's not
The
correct.
law says you can make a motion anytime, you gotta be recognized.
It sure does. You go look,
We done been
I'll
through
get
this.
the law and give it to you because I got it out for somebody
We
the
done
other
been
day.
through this.
I'll look at the purple book.
It's in the purple book. No, the purple book says you can make a motion on the floor.
Yep.
Well, we don't, but the things that is in state law is the ones that we have to go by. And don't be looking at me because that's it. When
Y'all passed the
you
purple
have a
book and
board
proceed.
meeting, you follow the rules.
Yeah,
of
but
the
it
law.
says in that purple book.
Well, there's nothing in the purple book that I'm aware of that's not in,
Cause
agreement
it's like
with the
this,
state
I mean, you,
statutes.
if you're saying that a person has to be recognized to make a motion, that is false.
Well, but you gotta.
Because you could know what's on my mind. Know I'm gonna make a motion and not recognize me.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is that the chairman has to make sure that everybody has had an opportunity to make their say.
Have
And
we
when you
had,
have somebody that jumps right in and makes a motion, then you don't know whether everybody has had their say or not.
Well,
And
when
that's
we
what
don't.
you want. You want everybody to be able to say what they think, and then you vote accordingly. The meeting's over with, we've adjourned.
Well, I got a question. What 3 job titles you got?
Well, I'm just having to fill in, I'm training, we have a new customer service, and so I've been up front since
Oh.
Brady pretty much, off and on up front since
She's
Brady
there
left.
in finance still, and town clerk, so she's training customer service.
Yes,
but
I'm
she's
with-
letting her regular job go. How much paperwork you got left on your desk, girl?
Oh, have you been in my office?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when you- that's
I went
when-
in your office looking at you, and then I found out you were up front doing somebody else's job.
Well, that's when you work at night and on the weekend.
Sovereign citizen.
They've got a sweet little girl hired though.
So they'll
Y'all
come in
gonna be here
and
at the
start
next
filming
meeting,
and.
yeah.
What?
We hired somebody really
Yeah.
good at next meeting.
Monday was her first day, but she seemed just as nice as she could be, yeah.
She's worked, the benefit of her is she's done this